Hi, my name is Sonia. I am the founder of Travel Awakens. I help purpose-driven travel professionals design and sell meaningful transformational offers so they can attract more clients, make a bigger impact, and build a more profitable business. And I'm here today to talk about creating your signature offer as a purpose-driven travel professional. Because if you are anything like me, you know that travel is transformational. Maybe travel changed your life, and because it changed your life, now you want to help others, you want to guide others to also have that experience. And you want to build a business that allows you to live with freedom. You want a business that sustains the lifestyle you want, that provides for your family, but also that fulfills that calling, that purpose, and the reason why you are here in this world to contribute to the planet. But for that, you need clients and you need an offer that helps them to achieve their goals and their aspirations through travel. An offer that's aligned and meaningful with what you want to do and your business. The problem is that either you don't have yet a signature offer, a solid offer at the foundation of your business, or if you have it, it could work much better. Maybe it does not convert as good as you like. So this is what we're going to talk about here today, because this is why you don't have this offer. Maybe you can recognize with one of these options. Most of my clients are in between B and C, but also sometimes it happens that you don't have anything that you think you could offer to clients. But as I said, most of the times is that you have so many ideas that you don't know which one to choose. Or if you know which one to choose, you are not clear on how to actually do it, where to start, right? And this is very common question, especially when we start a business. If you never had a business before, or if you come from a different industry that is not travel, you maybe wonder what exactly should you offer. You don't know if maybe offering a trip or a retreat or just maybe coaching support or package program, right? There are so many options, configurations, possibilities. If you should encourage people to travel or maybe coach them while they travel. So there are many combinations, and this can be, of course, normal, confusing. So questions about niche and about target are also very common. If there are enough clients out there, if there is a market, if I am the only one who believes that, or there are enough people out there who also want to change their life through travel, or they want to improve or learn, or becoming the best version of themselves through travel. So maybe you're wondering if your niche is too broad or too small, right? These are also common questions. And there are many pieces that need to fit together. So maybe you wonder where to start, what needs to be done, what goes first, how do you structure your offer so your clients get the results they are looking for with your services. And then when you look at other travel professionals, what they are doing, it seems that they have everything sorted and everything makes sense to them, that you are frustrated and sometimes, wondering what's wrong with me. I am still here trying to put all these pieces together when everybody looks so clear to me what they want to do. And of course, when you don't have this clarity and this confidence on what you offer, how are you going to sell it if you cannot even explain what you do? That's the main problem. And because you don't know what to do, you end up doing nothing. You get distracted doing other things. And before you know, months have passed by, and sometimes even years. We can be trapped there for years. But I'm here to tell you, what if there was a way that you can have the clarity you need to turn your purpose, your vision into something tangible? Imagine having a solid offer that generates results that you can explain with confidence, and you can start selling to your clients, that they recognize the value and they want to work with you. How would that make a difference in your life? I encourage you to think about that, maybe write it down, journal about it. The purpose of today, the session that I designed here, is to give you more clarity on what is blocking you, and also the motivation to take action. So I'm going to share as much as I can with the time we'll have here, but I recommend you to take notes, because you can always go back to the video, but it's better if you have your notes. Maybe having a journal or a piece of paper with you will help. And at the end of the session, I will also share an opportunity for further support if what you hear here resonates. So make sure you watch until the end. So let's begin. You may have heard about the transformation economy, and we are entering in an era of tourism that's never happened before. So we are in a totally new era of tourism, and we are in a turning point for those who want to offer something deeper to our travelers. So if you are here, you are not just interested in transactional travel to book hotels, planes, and be kind of the middle person. You want to contribute, you want to give back to the planet, to the travelers, also making the most of what you can give, right? Because sometimes we feel like we are wasting our potential, right? So we can give much more with all that we learn. Maybe you also work in your personal development, and you can bring to your clients. And with the help of travel, it's going to be much better. So this is an opportunity for you to position yourself as a leader. So everyone who's doing this at this moment, they are pioneers in this new era of transformational travel, the transformation economy era, with your specific niche and the target market that you decide to have. Because this transformational economy, maybe you have read the book already, but it's just published earlier this year in 2026. So in February 2026 was published, although it has been, talking about it for years. But it's something that's happening now, right? So everybody who is ready and is starting, they are positioning themselves as pioneers, as a leader. So you can start making the transformation that you offer more visible, more understandable, and more tangible. So it's about positioning yourself in the market now that people are wondering, what is this transformational economy thing and how this impact travel? So you can be ready for when people, start hearing more about it and ask for this kind of offers, these kind of trips. So you want to build an offer that makes your client say, that's exactly what I need, because this is sometimes not enough to have a good offer, but also how you communicate the message that you transmit to your clients so they recognize themselves in it. And the problem is not your talent. The problem is not that you don't have passion or you don't have a desire to help. The problem here is that you don't know yet how to turn your vision into a clear, professional, and sellable offer. So this is exactly what we are going to start addressing today. And I'm going to share with you 12 reasons. There are 12 reasons why you still don't have an offer that converts. So I invite you to take notes when I'm going to enumerate these reasons. So the first one is that until now, creating your offer hasn't been your priority. You had so many distractions in your life, other priorities, stuff going on. I don't blame you. I understand. Life gets in the way. We have, other maybe jobs, responsibilities, family, etc. But this needs to stop. You need to prioritize this because otherwise it's not going to happen. So trying to figuring things out as you go and playing by ear is not going to work. So you cannot continue like that. It's really time to commit. The reason number two is that you don't know what you don't know. And by trying to figure out everything by yourself only makes the opportunities, they slip through your fingers. Because as I said, time is moving. People are already hearing about this. They are already embarking in this new era of tourism, and you waiting is not helping. But of course, you don't know what you don't know. So that's important that also this uncertainty, right, is stopping you. The reason number three is that you are trying to squeeze everything you know, everything you learn into one offer. And this is, again, normal as entrepreneurs. We tend to have lots of ideas. So maybe too many ideas and you want to put them together in a single offer that only overwhelms your clients and confuses them. So if they are confused, they are not going to buy. The reason number four is perhaps, and this is the number one reason most offers fail, that you created an offer that nobody wanted or asked in the first place. So it actually works the other way around. The reason number five is that you haven't defined the journey your client needs to follow to get results. So you lack structure, you haven't pinpointed yet what happens in each stage of your offer and why and how and in what order and in what purpose. So it's important that you do that as well to have this clarity and also to help your clients to achieve results. Reason number six is that you are offering your clients what they need because you know as an expert what they need, but not necessarily this is what they think they need or what they are looking for. So if they don't recognize themselves in your offer, they won't be interested. Reason number 7, you stay trapped in a cycle of learning, perfectionism, hesitation, and you are not taking action. So you're trying to learn as much as you want. Sometimes this happens to overcome imposter syndrome, is what I learned from the experience. And especially if your background is different from travel or if you never had a business before, this can be very common as well. Reason number 8 is that you try to create your offer from logic, from the head, instead of from the heart. And the transformation your clients go through is an emotional process. So it's not about them understanding your offer mentally, but they have to feel it. Reason number 9 is your mindset. So maybe your mindset around being a purpose-driven travel professional still needs some stretch. So you don't see yourself as a travel professional, or if you are already a travel professional, maybe you don't see yourself as someone who can guide people through transformation through travel. So it's a question of self-identity. Reason number 10 is that in your offer, maybe you are not considering the ingredients, the necessary ingredients for a trip to be truly transformative. Even if you are just coaching them and you don't decide the experience, you also need to consider what are these ingredients that make travel transformational so you can coach your clients better. What are the characteristics that will help your clients generate these results and achieve these aspirations that they are looking for? Reason number 11 is that you are watching everyone else, what they are doing, instead of focusing on yourself, on your offer, and what you are meant to create for your client. Okay, so everybody's on their journey. Comparing is not going to help you. Focus on you, on your clients, your offer, and what you want to create. And the reason number 12 is that you haven't had the accountability you need to stay consistent and actually create and complete the signature offer that converts. If you recognize yourself in any of these reasons, I want to tell you there is nothing wrong with you. It's totally normal. Perhaps it's the first time you are creating an offer. Perhaps it's the first time, like me, that never had a business before, and this is totally a new world. But I want to tell you that with the right guidance and the support, all the pieces finally come together and everything clicks into place. So I want to ensure that you know that. And how do I know it? Well, I've been there too. Maybe you don't know me, maybe we haven't met before, but I was working not in travel, I was working in a totally different industry when I was working in Spain. I'm originally from Spain, but I moved to Ireland, and this happened 10 years ago with a promotion of my business. I was working for a British company that was an IT company. I used to work in software and I got this promotion. That's why I moved to Ireland. And I could say this one was one of my first, perhaps most transformational travel experience I ever had. But once I moved to Ireland and I went through a couple of promotions more in my company, the company, I was an employee to this company in a managerial position, I realized I didn't want to do this for the rest of my life, but I didn't know what to do because I always did that. And this is what maybe if in your situation is the same, but in my case, I was taught that success is that going up the ladder as much as you can, right? So I thought that was the right thing to do, but it was a moment in my career that I knew I didn't want to go further. It didn't feel right. It was logical, the next, the next promotion, but it didn't feel aligned. So I was, for the first time, I stopped and it's like, okay, why I want to do that? And I didn't find the reason. Yes, it would be the promotion is good, right? But I want to have more stress, more responsibility for what? More money. I was already earning well. More, the title. I was not sure what I was looking after with this promotion. So I stopped. I said no to the promotion, and I look at my passions. My background is in psychology. I have a degree in psychology. I love coaching, personal development. It's always been my big passion. But my other big passion is it's always been travel. And I knew that I didn't travel as much as I wanted because my career was my priority. But at that moment of my life where my career was not a priority anymore, basically because I didn't know what to do work-wise, I look at my passions, and I knew passions and purpose are often related. So I started traveling. I did 15 trips to 11 countries in 12 months, nearly one international trip per month. And I changed my life personally and professionally. So I discovered travel coaching, transformational travel. I got certified in 2021 and I never looked back. So I quit my job, in software, and I started guiding people with these travel experiences. So at the beginning, maybe 2021, you remember, was the pandemic, so it was not easy, but I started positioning myself, starting with expats, people who wanted to, they already moved or they had problems to adjust to the new country. And I was evolving, my business was evolving. But actually, I didn't have, when I started, I tried different things. In these 5 years of career that I had in this industry, I created and sold multiple transformational travel programs and offers and experiences. And I also learn a lot and make a lot of mistakes along the way that I want to also share with you. As I was saying, my niche at the beginning was coaching expats, and then I moved for two sabbaticals, career breaks, until I start designing Camino de Santiago transformational pilgrimages, right? My niche evolves. And it was a journey that took me years before I grew my business to the six-figure mark in 2024. So that's why I want to share with you and I want to teach this process that I used to create my most successful transformational travel offers, and it has completely transformed my business, and I know it will transform also yours. So there are 3 steps that you have to follow to create a successful offer. So again, I hope you write this down. The first one is that you have to translate your vision into a tangible plan. Okay, as visionaries, as entrepreneurs, we are wired different. So our mind naturally generates new ideas and sees lots of possibilities and connections and potential futures that other people may not see. But at the same time, the other side of the coin is that this also can become a trap. These ideas and being in our mind and generating ideas can keep us stuck in this mind realm, constantly learning and getting inspiration and consuming new content. And we are going round in circles for months or even years. So it's important to keep in mind that, yes, when we are learning and we are, thinking and we are generating ideas, this feels good because first it feels productive, but it's actually our mind that's busy. It's not, we are not being productive, it's the mind keeps busy. So it gives this false idea that we are busy and productive. And it's also emotionally rewarding because you get excited imagining all the possibilities, daydreaming about what you're going to do and create. But actually, without the structure, you won't get anywhere. So it's important that you are not adding more pieces to the puzzle, but you start actually putting them together into a framework. So you have to move this vision that you have into a framework. So you must define the problem, the transformational process, and how all these pieces work together in a coherent offer, tangible offer. The step number 2 is to overcome the internal resistance to implement. So once you have the framework, you have to implement it. But what happened? The execution is not as exciting as the generation of ideas. It feels much more slower, more messier, and you feel more vulnerable because suddenly you have to be visible, right? Taking action is uncomfortable. This is normal. And it's normal to experience resistance. Many people experience this resistance and then try to distract themselves. So this is totally part of the process. So you cannot hide anymore behind the ideas, the learning, consuming content passively. You actually have to do things. It's like, okay, things got real now, and this is scary. And it shows up when you already know what you have to do, but still you don't do it. So that's important, and you will realize if this is happening to you because you know exactly what you have to do, but you are finding excuses, distracting yourself, going after the shiny object or doing something in your house that maybe you have to now put a washing machine or something in that moment because you are avoiding this resistance of implementation. It's real. So seeing what ways you are self-sabotaging yourself. Sometimes it's with doubt that your mind is kind of part of you does not want to have the answer, because once you have the clarity, you will have to implement. So you're avoiding implementing by still, I'm not sure, is this niche, is the other niche, right? So you kind of keep the doubt alive, so you avoid implementing and putting yourself out there. So you have to know that these are actually limiting beliefs that are running behind your awareness. They are running at a subconscious level, and this is what happened behind the resistance. Because you may think, these limiting beliefs can be like, what people will think of me if I start, now being really public with my offer, or what if this is not going to work and this is just a silly dream, and again, the fear, the doubt will come. But you must reprogram your subconscious mind to believe success is possible for you, because otherwise you can take all the action in the world and still struggle to succeed. That's why people tell me sometimes that they tried so many different things, but nothing really worked, because this is this belief, this limiting belief that it is behind. So they may feel fully STEM ahead, but internally, but really they are not seeing any shift externally. So if you're focusing on the actions without addressing the limiting beliefs first, that is the problem. So you must pinpoint what is the misalignment in your conscious and subconscious, where is the disconnect. And then you have to reprogram your subconscious mind. And the way you do that is by creating new neural pathways in the brain to transform it from the inside. The step number 3 is to surround yourself by a supportive environment. This is crucial. Research shows that people you surround yourself with, your environment, determines who you become. Your performance will increase naturally if you surround yourself with doers, for example. Your self-belief will grow when you are around people who stretch your mindset and people who believe in you more than you believe in yourself, right? When your environment is supportive, you gain the courage to take bigger actions. And this is especially important when people around you don't understand what you do. Maybe they keep telling you to find a real job, or make you feel irresponsible for trying to pursue your life purpose, because yeah, maybe you don't have nobody in your family, you have no references around you, nobody's an entrepreneur, nobody has done anything like that before, right? So that's why the surroundings and the environment is so crucial. And what I found out is that all comes down to self-image. You have to upgrade the way you see yourself, to see yourself as the business owner who can really build a successful business. The person you are today is not the person who's going to create the results you want to achieve. So look up the ladder and look at the people you admire in your industry, because this is also possible for you. When you see yourself bigger, you can take bigger actions and you will have bigger results. So find someone who can meet you where you are and guide you in bringing all the bits and pieces together into something meaningful that converts. Is what really made a difference for me in my business, to find someone in the purpose-driven transformational travel space that has been successful, and ask them to work with them, ask them for support, because there is no such a thing as a completely self-made business owner. Nobody does it alone. Building a business is a big stretch, and you will need support and guidance along the way. People who believe in you and help you step by step. You need somebody to help you see what you cannot see yourself, because you are so immersed in the experience. So you need somebody from the outside to help you with that. You deserve an abundant, joyful, and fulfilling business that's aligned with who you are, your purpose, and your mission. A business that sustains the lifestyle you want, but also fulfills that deeper calling behind the reason why you're here. And it's only when you have this fulfillment and feel strong and grounded and clear in your purpose that you can actually help others. You can be a gift to others, because at the end, it's not about you, it's not about us, it's about the lives we are here to touch, to inspire, and to change with our work. So if you would like help in identifying what's your next level of growth, what it requires, if you want help creating a plan to help your business grow, I want to hear from you. Let's have a conversation. I would love to know more about your business, what's working, what's not working, where are you overwhelmed or stuck, what are your dreams that you have in terms of impact or revenue. So I can help you map out a plan to a new version of your business. This is a complimentary, totally free strategy call. We'll jump on a Zoom call for 30 minutes to have an informal conversation about what's possible for you. And this is the QR and the link to apply. You can go to travelawakens.com/strategy. I know deep down, if you have this calling, it's not gonna stop. Ignoring the calling that you have is not gonna make it disappear. It will keep calling until you respond. I know because it happened to me. I've been avoiding it for years and you cannot eventually stop it calling you back, right? So the only question is how many years of your life are gonna go by before you decide to answer the call and fully commit to do this. So you can ask yourself, would you be happy with your progress if 1 year from today you were in the exact same place you are now? Because if not, this is a defining moment. This is a decision that can change the trajectory of your business. Every entrepreneur have this, in their careers to make a choice, and you can make this choice, you can make a different choice, but it's all about stretching you before the comfort zone because nothing new can happen if you keep doing the same. You will continue getting the same results, right? The magic happens outside of the comfort zone. So I'm asking you to have this time together to defining a moment where you can say, that was the old me and that is the new me, to have this line in the sand that's going to be a before and after in your career. So now is your time. You deserve the highest support possible. Thank you for being here with me today, and I see you at the other side.